So imagine you have just opened this like beautiful new storefront. You spent months perfecting the window displays, the lighting is calibrated to absolute perfection, and the signage above the door is just stunning.
Oh, I can picture it.
Right. And millions of people are walking by. They're stopping on the sidewalks, they're looking in your windows, pointing at your products. They clearly admire what you have built, but here's the catch that breaks the whole model.
Let me guess. Nobody is walking through the door.
Exactly. Not a single person is actually coming inside to browse the aisles.
Yeah, and for a brick and mortar retailer, I mean, that is the ultimate nightmare scenario. You have infinite visibility, but zero foot traffic. You are essentially operating a museum of products rather than a business.
It's totally a museum. And if you're trying to get found on the internet, that is no longer just a hypothetical metaphor. That is the literal reality we are unpacking in this deep dive.
It really is.
And before we get into it, I want to be incredibly clear right up front about our timeline for you listening. We are looking at the SEO Daily Technology Report, and every trend, every statistic, and every technical framework we are discussing is locked to the reality of one specific date. That is July 10th, 2026.
Right, which is a vital anchor point to establish. I mean, the digital landscape of even early 2025 is practically a foreign country compared to the search infrastructure detailed in this July 10th, 2026 report.
Oh, completely. We are not talking about the internet of the past.
That's right.
We're talking about the mechanics of the web exactly as they exist on 2026-07-10. So our mission here is to guide you through this total transformation, because the era of typing a keyword and getting, 10 blue links, that's over.
Long gone.
Yeah, we have entered the era of AI citations. So we're going to look at how that happened, why it broke the old models of digital marketing, and most importantly, give you the exact playbook to remain visible. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Starting with that storefront metaphor, right? The concept of the death of the click. Because I was reading through the section on website traffic, and it feels like we are witnessing, a mass extinction event for outbound links.
That's actually a really accurate way to frame it. And the SparkToro data from earlier in 2026 puts an exact number on that extinction. Between January and April of 2026, 68% of Google searches in the U.S. ended with 0 clicks to any external website.
Wait, 68%?
Yeah, 68%. To put that in perspective, that number was hovering around 50% just 2 years prior.
That is a staggering jump.
It really is. And the reason for it is the May 2026 core update. That update made Google AI Mode the default experience for the vast majority of queries. So AI-generated answers are no longer just a fun experimental supplement at the top of the page.
Right, they are the main event now.
Exactly, they're the primary result. The user asks a question, the AI reads the internet, synthesizes the answer, and serves it directly on the results page.
Which, it's incredibly convenient for the person searching. But it brings me right back to my empty storefront. It is like reading the summary on the back cover of a book instead of actually buying the book.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right. So if nearly 7 out of 10 people are getting their answer without ever clicking through to a website, how does a brand even survive? Are we just optimizing for vanity metrics now? Because being mentioned by an AI feels like getting a shout out that, doesn't pay the bills.
I get that. And that reaction makes complete sense if we are still applying the logic of 2024 to the reality of 2026-07-10. We have to fundamentally reframe what constitutes a vanity metric.
Okay, reframe it how?
Well, a citation within an AI overview is the new currency of the internet. Think about how brand trust is built. Even without a direct click, if an AI assistant consistently tells a user that your brand is the authoritative source on a specific topic, you are capturing unparalleled mindshare.
So it's about being the foundational truth for the AI.
Exactly. And the report notes that Google's Search Central team confirmed back at Search Central Live that traditional SEO and what we are now calling AI SEO, they aren't separate disciplines anymore.
They're just the same thing.
Right. The metric of success has simply migrated. Instead of tracking whether your link is number 1, you are now tracking impressions and citations inside those generative responses.
Okay, so instead of trying to get the user to visit our website, we are basically trying to get the AI to read our website so it can summarize us to the user.
You've got it.
That sounds logical. But how do we actually force an AI to read our content? Because the report dives heavily into generative engine optimization, or GEO, and it brings up this technical standard called the lmjust.txt file.
Yes, the lmms.txt file. This is crucial as of July 2026.
I have to admit, my eyes kind of glazed over a bit reading that section. We have always had robots.txt files to tell search engines what to crawl, right? So why do we need a completely new file just for large language models?
Because human beings and large language models consume data in entirely different ways. Like a human wants a beautifully designed web page, right? Engaging typography, high-resolution visuals, a really compelling narrative flow.
Sure, we like pretty things.
Exactly. But a large language model does not care about your visual branding at all. It wants clean, stripped down, highly structured data. So the lms.txt file is a dedicated signpost. It bypasses the human-facing design entirely and hands the AI a raw, optimized map of the most critical, factual information about your brand.
Wait, so we are essentially building secret maps just for bots now?
Mhm.
Is the internet literally splitting into a human-readable web and a machine-readable web?
That is the precise architectural shift happening right now. And what's fascinating here is that according to the July 2026 data, between 5 and 15% of major websites have already adopted the lmms.txt standard alongside their traditional XML sitemaps.
Wow, up to 15% already.
Yeah. And early adopters are doing this because an AI model is, at its core, a massive pattern recognition engine. It needs absolute clarity to feel confident, which connects directly to entity SEO and structured data, which the report highlights as the foundational layer of this new machine-readable web.
Okay, let's slow down and unpack that, because terms like entity SEO and JSON-LD get thrown around a lot in this report. For someone listening who hasn't looked at the back-end code of their website in 5 years, what does that actually mean?
That's a very fair question.
Like, what does JSON-LD even look like to an AI?
Okay, so think of JSON LD like a digital name tag that you attach to every single concept on your website.
A name tag.
Right. Let's say you publish a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. A human looks at the page and inherently understands, that picture of the person is the author, and that number next to the little clock icon is the prep time.
Because we have context clues.
Exactly. But an AI scanning the raw text might struggle to make those connections definitively. JSON LD is code hidden in the background that explicitly states entity type, person, name, John Doe, entity type, recipe, prep time, 20 minutes.
Oh, so you just remove the guesswork completely.
Yes, you define the entities, the people, places, concepts, and products so clearly that the AI can extract them instantly without misinterpreting the surrounding context.
So we are spoon-feeding the exact facts to the AI. That makes sense. And the report notes that things like FAQ schema, they've surged recently, not to get those old traditional rich snippets on Google, but because well-structured question and answer formats are incredibly easy for an AI to parse and extract.
Exactly. It's highly extractable.
But here is the part of the 2026 0710 landscape that feels just incredibly overwhelming to me. We do all of this work. We build the lms.txt file, we perfectly code our JSON-LD name tags, we optimize for the AI. And then the data shows that optimizing only for Google is a massive fatal mistake.
A catastrophic mistake for any modern brand. Google is no longer the sole gatekeeper of discovery.
Right.
The data makes it clear that brands focusing purely on Google's AI overviews are missing roughly half of the entire AI-driven discovery ecosystem.
Half. I mean, that is a staggering blind spot, because now we have ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Gemini all sending real trackable referral traffic. But the kicker is that they all want completely different things.
Yes, they all have distinct citation algorithms.
The report breaks it down, right? Perplexity prioritizes highly recent authoritative sources. ChatGPT favors EEAT signals and conversational depth. Claude wants nuanced, well-reasoned, long-form content. And Google is heavily focused on structured data and factual clarity from its own index.
That's right.
It is like cooking dinner for 4 incredibly picky roommates. One only wants fresh, locally sourced ingredients from today. One wants a deep, meandering conversation over the meal. One demands complex, nuanced flavor profiles. And the fourth just wants the macronutrients organized perfectly on a grid. How do you feed all of them with the same website?
Well, the short answer is you don't. You don't feed them with the same singular piece of content.
No.
The picky roommate analogy perfectly illustrates why the old model of publishing one generic blog post and hoping it ranks everywhere that's dead. This multi-engine splintering forces a modular approach to content.
So breaking it into pieces.
Right. You might publish a core, highly nuanced white paper that appeals to Claude's algorithm. Then you ensure the structured data, the facts, the authors, the dates are perfectly coded for Google. You pull out conversational deep dive Q&A sections for ChatGPT, and you constantly update a hub of recent statistics to feed Perplexity.
Wow. So the single search engine results page, the SRP we all used to obsess over, is just fractured. We were doing multi-surface optimization now.
Exactly. And tools like Ubersuggest and Athena HQ are heavily focused on tracking this multi-surface reality.
How does a human team even manage that level of modular content without going completely insane? The sheer volume of tracking required to monitor citations across all these different AIs seems impossible for a standard marketing department.
It is impossible for a small human team, which is why the SEO software industry has completely transformed. The report highlights the 2026 SEO command centers, which operate at a scale of automation that would have been unthinkable a few years ago.
Yeah, let's dig into that because the capabilities of these tools are wild. The report mentions Semrush as the dominant all-in-one center, coming in at about $119.95 a month. And its 2026 Copilot uses generative AI to instantly interpret massive data sets and build strategic reports without human intervention.
It's incredibly powerful.
But while reading the Semrush data, I hit a statistic that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. It's the volatility metric.
The 96% churn rate. It is arguably the most important data point in the entire report.
Yes. Semrush research shows that 96% of AI overviews swap out their cited domains over a 31-day period. Think about that. The AI changes its mind 96% of the time in a single month about who it considers the best source.
It's extreme volatility.
If a business relies on digital visibility for revenue, and that visibility vanishes and reappears on a daily basis because the AI keeps hallucinating different preferences, how does that business survive? Like, how do you project financial stability when the ground is moving that violently?
That is the big question. And what you have to understand is that volatility is the symptom of an AI that lacks confidence.
Lacks confidence. What do you mean?
When an AI model is trying to answer a query and it finds 20 different websites that all have similar, mediocre, slightly rewritten content, it essentially guesses. It pulls a citation from one today and a citation from another tomorrow, causing that 96% churn.
Oh, so it just doesn't know who the real expert is.
Right. So the only way to anchor your brand and survive that volatility is to become so undeniably authoritative that the AI cannot possibly guess. It has to cite you.
Which explains why tools like Ahrefs, which runs about $99 a month, are focusing heavily on anomaly detection. The report outlines how their index is now updating every 15 to 30 minutes, featuring an AI site explorer to instantly spot toxic link patterns or sudden drops in authority.
Because in an AI-driven world, the machines still look at who is linking to you as a massive signal of trust.
But if we need to build this unshakable authority to stop the AI from guessing, doesn't that require an army of writers creating brilliant content constantly? The report talks extensively about AI automation platforms like AirOps, which uses multi-model generation, WriteSonic at $249 a month, and Koala AI.
Yes, those have matured into semi-automated pipelines.
Right. They are bundling writing, schema generation, and image creation into one workflow. So can't we just use AI to write the content that feeds the AI?
You can, but doing so blindly leads right back to the volatility problem. We have to look at the official guidance issued by Google's Search Central team back in April of 2026.
What do they say?
They issued a very stark warning regarding automation. AI tools must be used to accelerate your workflow, analyzing data, structuring code, spotting content gaps. They absolutely cannot be used as a substitute for genuine human expertise and original insight.
Because the AI search engines already have access to all the generic synthesized information in the world. They don't need a brand to generate more of it.
Exactly.
They need the brand to provide the unique, grounded truth that they can't synthesize on their own. Which brings us to the actual antidote to that terrifying 96% volatility.
The currency of trust. This is the grand philosophical shift that defines the July 2026 landscape.
The report highlights a specialized tool called EEATClean. TechBullion actually listed it as the top tool of 2026. It analyzes your website and gives you a quantifiable EEAT score. And for anyone not living and breathing SEO, that stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right.
So this tool literally scans your site and gives actionable recommendations on exactly which articles to prune, update, or remove entirely to strengthen your trust profile.
And that auditing process is particularly critical for what the industry calls YMYL topics, your money or your life.
Like finance or medical advice.
Yes. If your brand talks about finance, medical health, legal advice, or physical safety, EEAT is no longer just a set of vague best practices. As of July 10th, 2026, those trust signals are hard algorithmic requirements.
So the AI won't even look at you if you aren't verified.
Precisely. AI overviews are aggressively prioritizing established, verified experts. If a certified financial planner writes a brief factual post, the AI will cite them over a beautifully optimized 3,000-word article written by some anonymous author. Trust is the algorithm now.
You just cannot fake a digital footprint of real-world expertise. But here's where it gets really interesting, tying all this technical infrastructure together. The report references Moz's 2026 trends analysis, specifically an insight from Garrett Sussman. He identifies the defining paradigm shift of the year, a concept he calls relevance engineering.
Relevance engineering. It is the perfect terminology for the mechanics of modern visibility. It completely redefines what optimization actually means.
I want to break down exactly how this works, because it fundamentally alters how we think about a user searching for something. Because of AI mode, there is no longer a static, shared experience.
Right.
Like in the past, if 10 people typed the same phrase into a search bar, they all saw the exact same list of 10 blue links. Now each of those 10 people sees a uniquely generated, customized answer. The AI tailors the response based on their personal search history, their geographic location, their demonstrated biases, and the AI's real-time interpretation of their specific intent.
Which means traditional keyword tracking, the whole obsession with ranking #1 for a specific phrase, is essentially obsolete.
Like old SEO was playing checkers, just jumping over pieces with keyword stuffing. But relevance engineering is like playing 3D chess, where the board changes shape for every single player. You literally cannot rank #1 on a board that is constantly changing.
That's a brilliant way to put it. The report explains that instead of obsessing over keywords, relevance engineering requires brands to build omnichannel content networks. You have to meet the user wherever their query fanouts lead them.
Query fanouts, let's explain that.
Sure. Query fanouts are the unpredictable conversational branches of a search. Let me give you a mechanical example. Suppose a user asks an AI assistant about buying a new electric vehicle. The AI provides a summary.
Okay, pretty standard.
But then the user asks a follow-up question about battery life in cold weather. That is a fan out. The AI answers, and the user fans out again, asking about tax rebates specific to their state.
So if I am an automotive brand, I can't just have one page optimized for the keyword electric vehicles and hope for the best. I have to anticipate that conversational branching.
Precisely. You have to engineer your relevance across that entire potential conversation. You map out the related questions, model the AI's behavior, and create deeply interconnected assets.
Like what?
Like a technical schema about your battery, a highly nuanced article about cold weather performance, a structured table of state tax rebates. You are no longer optimizing for keyword density on a single page. You are optimizing for resonance rather than density.
Resonance, I love that.
Yeah. If we connect them to the bigger picture, SEO is no longer about tricking a machine into ranking you. You want your brand's authority to resonate so clearly in the AI's neural network that no matter which way the user's query fans out, your content is the most logical, undeniably relevant answer to pull from.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this deep dive? Let's briefly recap the journey we just took through the reality of July 10th, 2026. We started with the harsh truth of that SparkToro data. 68% of Google searches ending with 0 clicks because the AI is serving the answer immediately on the page. The storefront is full of onlookers, but nobody's walking in.
Which forces us to accept that visibility and citation inside those AI answers, not direct traffic, is the new standard of digital success.
Right. And to get those citations, we have to build the machine-readable web. We are implementing LLMs.txt files and meticulously coding JSON-LD structured data so the bots don't have to guess who we are or what we do. We explored the multi-engine splintering, realizing that feeding Google's algorithm just isn't enough anymore.
No, you have to adapt your content for the conversational depth of ChatGPT, the nuance of Claude, and the recency of Perplexity.
And we managed that staggering complexity using AI-driven command centers like Semrush and Ahrefs, constantly fighting against the 96% citation volatility by ruthlessly auditing our own EAT signals. We survive by building unquestionable trust.
Exactly.
And it all culminates in relevance engineering. We are no longer chasing keywords. We are building interconnected networks of undeniable expertise designed to capture the user's intent no matter how their conversation with the AI fans out. If you are listening to this right now, whether you are running a business, prepping for a strategy meeting, or just trying to ensure your voice is actually heard in the modern digital landscape, you must adapt to these mechanics.
You really must.
The rules have been entirely rewritten. If you rely on the tactics of a few years ago, keyword stuffing, generic blog content, ignoring your technical schema, you won't just see a dip in performance. In the landscape of July 10th, 2026, you will be rendered completely invisible to the machines that now act as the primary gatekeepers of human knowledge.
It is a profound architectural shift in how human knowledge is distributed and consumed, and examining these mechanics leaves us with a rather profound question to consider.
What's that?
If search engines are no longer retrieving a static list of shared documents, but are instead entirely engineering unique, personalized answers based on our individual histories, biases, and intents, does a shared universal internet even exist anymore? Or are we all just searching for facts inside our own perfectly optimized AI-generated reality bubbles?
Wow, that is a staggering thought to leave on. Are we building authority on a shared web, or are we just optimizing to be included in millions of isolated reality bubbles? Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2026 0710 SEO technology landscape. Keep optimizing for trust, start thinking about your machine-readable architecture, and take a moment to evaluate what is really happening outside your digital storefront window. We will catch you next time.